What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about American Horror Story 1984, and I have a little bit of a theory video for you guys about the 100th episode of this amazing series. And that is, what if we are going to be heading back to the Hotel Cortez during the events of next week's episode? So I have to admit, this isn't something I was really initially thinking about during literally any part of this season. It wasn't even something I was really considering when I was reviewing and breaking down the trailer for next week's episode. Then I got to thinking about some of the revelations that we saw in last night's episode. In particular, literally every place that we've seen that seems like a portal to hell, or at least some kind of beacon where ghosts can thrive even though they're dead, are all set in Los Angeles in American Horror Story's timeline. I'm not saying by any means that that's the only place that we've ever seen throughout the 9 seasons. I'm just saying it seems like a lot more places than any other place in the United States are portals into hell, and the Hotel Cortez is one of them. So if you guys don't remember, Hotel Cortez was the setting of American Horror Story Hotel, the 5th season of this show, which was also, like Murder House before, it's located in California, and now we're seeing the exact same thing with Camp Redwood. And even though it's a really brief glimpse into what we're about to see in next week's episode, in the trailer they gave us after last night's episode, we do get to see the Night Stalker kind of roaming around in what appears to be a hotel-like setting. Now, where have we seen a hotel before? Obviously, the Hotel Cortez, and we know that a lot of murders have happened there over the years. Another thing that we know is that the Night Stalker does show up in Hotel Cortez during the events of the 5th season, and that him and James March, one of Evan Peters' best roles in the entirety of the series, had some kind of connection with each other. Now, I'm not really sure what they're going to be doing here. From what I understand, Evan Peters isn't going to be in this season at all, and personally, I really hope that they've been lying to us this entire time, and he's going to just show up for a brief cameo in this season, but they already did the exact same thing last season, and honestly, we don't even really need him. One of the things they could establish, though, is that the Night Stalker, because of his connection with the devil and everything that we've seen throughout this entire season, he's at least familiar with the Hotel Cortez, and he might even have relationships with everyone there, and it's one of the places he goes to hide out, and they protect him when he's on the run, or when he needs to just stand by and heal or do whatever he needs to do before he goes out and kills again. This episode could also be a little bit of a window to get Sarah Paulson back in American Horror Story without her having to come up with a completely new and original character. She can just play Sally from American Horror Story Hotel, and nobody would even really bat an eye. We would just be happy to have her back in the series, and we can just go from there. But really, if you are asking me, I would be a little bit disappointed. Sally was never really my favorite character of Sarah Paulson's, and just having her back in that character instead of a brand new character, or maybe even one of her better characters from another story from the series, would have been a little bit better. But I understand why they would do this. It wouldn't require a whole lot of legwork for Sarah Paulson to step back into a role that she already played throughout an entire season of, and they wouldn't have to waste any more time of the season to try to bring in a completely new and original character into the narrative that they're already trying to weave. Another reason I really like this idea is because this is the 100th episode of American Horror Story, and as I already talked about in my trailer breakdown, you can go look at that in the description section below. One of the things that they need to do is start really connecting all the other seasons. If a lot of the seasons that we've seen thus far have taken place in California, this would be kind of a perfect episode to explore those narrative threads and start connecting them in a way that's going to make sense, planting the seeds for the 10th season of the series, and hopefully tying all of the stories together and making sure that the series has a legitimate end if we're not going to get an 11th season or some kind of other continuation of the series going forward. But anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. I really do believe that we're going to be seeing some kind of twist and turns. Maybe we're going to go to the Hotel Cortez in this next episode as a little bit of a wink and a nod to everyone who's been watching for the longest time, and this next episode is really going to start connecting everything for the last 5 episodes, not only of this season, but the 10 episodes next season, or however long it is. And as a longtime fan of the series, I would really like that. The only problem I have with them going back to the Hotel Cortez is we've done this before. I mean, everything about this season, if that is exactly what they're planning on doing next episode, everything in this season feels like a lot of rehashing from the other seasons. With the ghost sleeping with a live woman, we saw that in Murder House. Going back to the Hotel Cortez, saw them do that last season. And then with the ghost coming back in a specific place, having to die in a specific place, instead of other people dying in the same general area, but they can't come back because their souls aren't tied to that specific space. We saw that in Murder House. We saw that in Hotel. We've seen this over and over and over. And it really does beg the question, is there a broader connection to all of this? And are they just trying to weave the narrative along until they can get to that point? Or do they not really know what they're doing and now they're just starting to reuse ideas that we've seen before because it worked in the past and it's going to work again? I'm not really sure. All I know is that I am enjoying this season, even though it is a little bit predictable and we're not really getting a whole lot of things that are jaw-dropping, or, it doesn't really feel like American Horror Story. What can they do now to shock us after 9 years? I'm not entirely sure, but it's still an interesting season. I'm enjoying every single episode, and I feel like a lot of that is because they're adhering to the slasher genre, and they're telling a story that is both familiar, but also reworked enough to make it original and interesting each and every single week. So I'm enjoying it. I really hope that there is a broader connection here and these just aren't lazy coincidences or them just running out of ideas. I hope that all of this is really building up for a particular reason, and I cannot wait to see what that is if that is the case. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload. It's been real.